PFL action continues at the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium for match 2 of our triple header on this Saturday. It's a big match between two teams who are trying to get themselves further up the table. Tuloy FC looking for their 3rd victory in this season, taking on Philippine Army, who have been struggling so far this season. It's a matchup that the Armed Forces side won last year. They're going to be hoping this will be their opportunity to get points on the board. Jing Hamlang and Diego Cordero calling the action for you today as we take a look at lovely conditions here in Manila for football. A very exciting matchup, as we mentioned. As we take a look at the standings, Diego, it's a crucial game between these two teams. Tuloy have an opportunity to really separate themselves from the bottom 3. And meanwhile, for Philippine Army, a real chance to get points on the board.
Yeah, a game between two teams in that classification round, but one would favor Tuloy because they have 6 points, while Philippine Army is still yet to register any point. It's a match that was actually, you picked this match to be quite close, but I think, it's a chance really for both teams to get 3 points today, for Tuloy to get onto 9 points, and for Philippine Army to get that, finally break that duck that they've not been able to break the whole season. Again, it's one of the matches that you'd usually put us quite even, maybe slightly in Tuloy's favor. But I think all 3 points here are up for grabs, and this match is a little bit of a 6-pointer, especially given the table that we see in front of us right now.
Definitely going to be an element of revenge as well for Tuloy. Ang sabi nga natin, nakuha ng Philippine Army ang panalo in the previous season, but it seems like a different Tuloy and a different Philippine Army that we're seeing in this year. Tuloy have been particularly impressive, even in the games that they've lost. We've seen flashes of what they're capable of, but in the last match they won 3-0, so they're carrying quite a bit of momentum against the side that has conceded 15 goals unanswered in their last 2 outings.
Yeah, Tuloy coming off that big win, that momentum boosting win, started 2026 on a high note. A bit of a break, it must be said, so maybe the momentum has been slightly scuppered, but they did start the year on a good note. Philippine Army, on the other hand, they haven't played for a really long time now. So yeah, I think the advantage in that sense might be with Tuloy.
We're taking a look here at Tuloy FC and their warm-up routine. A very interesting time for them to pick up points. It seems as if they are just a notch above the likes of Don Bosco Garelli, Philippine Army we will see, as well as Valenzuela PB Mendiola. But, they could really actually make a push towards that upper half of the classification group. But games like this, you'll need to win. As we take a look here at the lineup of Coach Taketomo Suzuki, it's a return for a player that was out in their previous victory. John Lloyd Halike is back in the mix.
Yeah, you see the usual suspects for Tuloy. Antilio back in goal, the 2 Saots, and yeah, Henson Diaz, Uracoy, Lupango, Halike. Really good performances against Mendiola, minus, of course, Halike, who was absent from that match, although they didn't actually feel his absence. So it's a Tuloy team that looks familiar, but they've actually been productive in this transfer window as well, it must be said. They bolstered their squad with new signings that aren't seen here. They're on the bench, but yeah, it's a renewed squad, refreshed by the new signings of certain players. And yeah, it's going to be a chance for them to make another statement, because we know that they have talent and that they try to play brave football, but today's a real chance actually to get actual points on the board.
Hadi Nunez, of course, their captain and our player to watch today for the side of Tuloy, had a goal to his name in the previous outing and was just all around neat and tidy in the middle of midfield. He's not a big man by any stretch of the imagination, but boy, does he have technique and vision that he combines to become really effective as a midfield general.
Yeah, he got a goal, and he also got the Man of the Match award in that victory over Mendiola. He's going to be the captain for this Tuloy team, so he has that leadership aspect as well. Of course, already an appearance or 2 for the national team. Has a lot of experience at his very young age, so we're seeing a player develop, and what a player he is going to develop to be, because, the exposure he's getting at this level is really good for his age.
To know more about their approach for today's match, let's listen in to a member of their coaching staff.
First of all, yung expectation namin for this match, Same, wala namang pinagbago, ganun pa rin kung paano kami nakita, I mean, paano kami nakilala as a Tuloy FC. More on build up, then try din namin kung kaya namin manalo ngayon, this game. Then, second, condition ng player, okay naman kasi mga last game namin, may mga injury. So, as of now, medyo okay yung mga players namin ngayon sa Tuloy FC. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Good to know the 2-week break that was enforced on the Philippines Football League has benefited Tuloy and their players. Their squad looking very strong today. And as Coach mentioned, we're not going to expect too many changes in the way they play. And that is the beauty of Tuloy. They will stick to their guns regardless of the opposition. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, Philippine Army Football Club. It's been a season to forget so far, but still there are plenty of games to turn things around, and the Philippine side has had quite a break. It's been over 2 months since their last fixture. And as we take a look at their lineup here, what are your expectations here from Philippine Army, Diego?
I'd like to see an eagerness, to start the year well against a fixture, against a team that is more favorable than usual. When they play against the bigger teams in the PFL, it is a bit one-sided. But, for Philippine Army, this is a real chance to actually get any point on the board because of the way that, they can sort of use their experience and age over Tuloy. This is a fixture that they would have encircled in their calendar as, a very real opportunity to make a statement to say that they actually do belong at this level, because thus far in the PFL it's been hard to see justifications as to why they should actually continuously be in this level of Philippine football. Today is a chance to change that perspective on them.
A negative 50 plus goal difference is makes for difficult viewing if you are a fan of Philippine Army, but they're going to look to turn things around here in 2026. Mark Bedia steps in to goal for them. That's something fresh. Jalsor Soriano is back from injury. He is a veteran at the highest level, has played in the AFC as well, alongside Sai Villaseñor. So these are some players that they can rely upon in terms of experience and capability. And they've got Jimwell Ariola leading the line. But the player to watch today is a new addition to their squad, previously plying his trade for Águilas UMAC FC, and it is Jomare Sapal.
Yeah, they've not had a good year, to be completely frank. So for 2025, yeah, as you said, Jing, it's a season to forget so far. But you do hope that a signing like Jomare Sapal in the transfer window, it could give them a little bit of a boost, sort of reinvigorate their midfield to try and give them something different into matches and try to give opponents something else to think about as well, because he did play for Águilas. He had that training exposure at the high club. And yeah, they'll be hoping that he adds something different. Hopefully he adds a little, unpredictability for Philippine Army. And yeah, he's going to be our player to watch because of we hope that he gives that new signing boost for Philippine Army, because they, to be completely honest, they need a boost from anywhere really. But they'll be hoping that it comes through Jomare Sapal.
We caught up with head coach Ronel Hiner earlier on. Let's hear what he has to say heading into this contest.
Ang expectation namin sa araw na to na makuha namin yung goal na manalo, makakuha ng magandang opening para early goals from defense to midfield to forward is always complete naman si lineup ng Army. So yun ang inaabangan lang namin na opening kami ng maganda para makakuha ng score kaagad.
First 10-15 minutes going to be crucial in this match, and it will be a real insight into how these two teams will approach this game. Philippine Army have been experimenting a little in this season. We've seen that they have opted to play out the back on goal kick sequences, for example. Perhaps we're going to see an opportunity to see these two teams go toe-to-toe in that same style of trying to progress forward with short passing. definitely going to be quite intriguing to see if that would be the case.
Yeah, and Philippine Army, they usually play against teams that are going to dominate them physically or athletically against teams like Manila Digger, the teams in the upper league of the PFL. But against Tuloy, they do have certain physical advantages over Tuloy, or advantages maybe in terms of age, experience. So these are fine margins that they have to use to their advantage. They don't get much opportunities to use any sort of advantage against anyone in the PFL, but today's a chance to do just that over Tuloy. My only concern for Philippine Army would be, Tuloy played more recently than Philippine Army. They were one of the few teams that were actually able to play in January, while you mentioned earlier, Jing, Philippine Army haven't played for over 2 months. You do wonder that, okay, they might be rested, but match sharpness, match fitness, the speed of the game, could they be a little bit overwhelmed? I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen for this match, especially in the opening exchanges.
Youth, skill, technique of Tuloy FC going head-to-head with the grit and brawn of Philippine Army Football Club. It's an intriguing clash of these different characteristics and perhaps different styles of play as well. And makikita natin kung magugulangan ba itong Philippine Army ang mga kabataan ng Tuloy FC. It certainly worked not too long ago, and we'll see if Tuloy have learned their lessons. Certainly in their previous matches, most recently, they've shown na medyo they've taken the next step itong Tuloy FC, and ang sabi nga natin, even in the matches where they've lost, they've looked impressive. They've been able to score some really impressive goals against the likes of the top 6 in our standings right now. And Philippine Army, are you surprised, Diego, about the statement here of Coach Ronel Hiner? Sinasabi niya na naghahanap sila ng early goal. Of course, the numbers are not very encouraging when you look at the number of goals they've scored in 8 matches, but it seems he has something up his sleeve, perhaps, that he feels baka kaya natin makakuha ng goal ng maaga.
Yeah, I think they'll feel that, it's a chance, because I believe we called this game together, Jing. When Tuloy faced Mendiola, they won 3-0 at the end. But for the opening 20 minutes, the biggest chances of the game actually went to Valenzuela, PP Mendiola. If that shot is converted, they had 2 or 3 goal-scoring shots. If one of those is converted, it's a completely different game, and Tuloy are on the back foot. So they'll be hoping that Philippine Army, get a similar type of opening in the opening 20 minutes or so, and then the difference being the fact that they can convert it tonight, because that would change the game. Tuloy were a bit stunned in that opening exchange against Mendiola. If the same thing happens here today, then it's an absolute must that Philippine Army take their chances.
Jimwell Ariola has been the lone goal scorer for Philippine Army, and that goal came against Maharlika, which was a bit of a surprise, as Maharlika was actually all in the midst of some really good form. So Philippine Army have shown they are capable. It's about putting the performance together over a longer period of time. They're likely to bring on the veteran Nestorio Margarce Jr. later on in the second half to steady the midfield. But siguro dahil andyan na si Sapal ngayon, they won't have to wait until the second half to develop a bit of midfield control. At least on paper, that is the plan for Coach Ronel Hiner. We've got kickoff between Tuloy and Philippine Army just around the corner. Stay with us. here we go. Match about to take place now between Tuloy FC and Philippine Army. As we take a look at our officials for the day, Chris Melcayabiab, the man in the middle, assisted today by Aldous Mirafuentes II, Brunello Getigan, and Mick John Pineda on the sideline. Captains are Harry Nunez and Jemark Cortez. It's going to be an interesting start to the game after a lengthy delay, almost an hour, because of light issues here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. But here we are, here we go. Here's the lineup of Tuloy FC.
Going to be interesting to see if that delay actually causes any, slow starts or faster starts, given that they had already warmed up for quite some time. But nevertheless, exciting matchup here tonight. Again, it's going to be a chance for a 6-pointer, if you will, because these two teams are in similar positions in the table, although Tuloy are better off with 6 points.
And kickoff underway here. Tuloy getting us started. They're in their white kits and Philippine Army in green. Jing Hamlang and Diego Cordero calling the action tonight. Second of our triple header on this Saturday in Manila. Again, a contest that both teams will have circled on their fixture schedule, thinking that this is definitely a winnable contest. Tuloy, in typical fashion, knocking the ball around very well.
Yeah, Tuloy coming off that really good 3-0 victory against Mendiola. However, Philippine Army will have noted the fact that they actually didn't make a good start to that game. Let's see if a similar start is made, or if a better start is made in this one.
Said El Saud being double teamed. Shielding the ball well was Mark Linen de Guzman.
I'm interested to see if Philippine Army continue to opt to play out.
Might be getting your answer here, Diego.
Yeah, it's something that hasn't worked quite as well as they would have liked. I actually recall there was one game where they went a little bit more direct. Jing, we actually called that game together. It was their game against Cebu. They ended up losing by quite a big scoreline, but if we recall correctly, they actually had a really good first half, had the chance to take the lead.
Very competitive in that contest until things unraveled late on. And one of the reasons for that was their unwillingness to play out the back. But it seems they're interested in experimenting with a more measured progression here.
I also think Philippine Army, when thinking about the preparation for this game, will have noted the fact that if there's one thing they can get at Tuloy at, it's Tuloy's lack of physique or lack of maybe height and athleticism. It's something that Tuloy tried to play past with their usual style of play, but if Philippine Army are gonna get anything from this game, it has to be down that avenue.
Sapal, one of the players that we have earmarked to keep an eye on, and already spraying a nice pass, nice diagonal over to the left flank. He's going to be their linchpin in the middle of midfield. Looking for support down the middle, and it's going to be a clean catch for Michael Antilo Jr.
Yeah, but that was good. That was good for Philippine Army. They cannot allow Tuloy to dictate the game at their pace. They have to sort of, for lack of a better term, they have to bully Tuloy. This is a team, the Philippine Army team, of an average age of 30. Tuloy's average age is 20. So, they have to sort of use their experience and know-how in that manner, through that avenue, which they are advantageous, which is, of course, the physical aspect of the game and the athletic aspect of the game.
Senor looking for the runner. Defended well here. Not shielded out, but possession being maintained by Tuloy under some real pressure. Palacio. Unable to get past his man. Nunez. To look around. Side of South in support.
Yeah, this is the state of the game that Tuloy want to be in all the time. Passing through the lines. There you see another one there.
Halike. Keeper was well off his line there.
Goalkeeper Mark, he's actually a bit lucky there that there wasn't an angle for a shot, because Tuloy got to that first and he was almost out of his own penalty area. A bit nervous there from the goalkeeper, who's actually not the usual #1 goalkeeper.
Running behind, being spotted. Flag is up on John Binalo.
Yeah, good line from Army's back line to win that offside call. Again, Army just can't allow Tuloy to settle into this type of possession where they can just control all proceedings of this match. Army have to break up the rhythm of Tuloy, because once Tuloy get in that rhythm, once they get into that flow state, if you will, they're a really hard team to play against, no matter who you are in the league.
Rather extraordinary here, Diego. We had a player there who was just flagged offside, Lawrence Binalong, 16 years of age.
Wow.
Must be the youngest that we've seen fielded at the PFL so far. Gentleman still in high school. Let's see what his contribution is here tonight. Against a physical side as well in Philippine Army.
To me, that gives the impression that despite his age, there's been trust put into him by the coaching staff of Tuloy. That means for sure that there's quality in there, I'd like to think. I mean, that's the story of a lot of these Tuloy players, though. They are the youngest team in the entire PFL, but they do punch above their weight. It's great to see. It's great to imagine where they'll be at, in 3 or 4, even 5 years. Also believe Tuloy are one of the teams that have this continuous academy program. It's not that often actually you see in the Philippines a program like that, wherein young talents like the one we just mentioned, they can just jump up. And because they've had that exposure already to the same training, it's not a big jump. You're still being coached by the same players, still being trained by the same players. And it's a really good program that Tuloy have going.
Army able to progress forward. Nice little knockdown for Limuel Ariola. Cross is blocked. It's going to be almost a corner kick. In the end, cross was delivered. Even start to the game so far here. We enter the 8th minute of the contest.
Both sides just feeling each other out. This is actually the first time they're playing, because their first round encounter was cancelled by typhoon. So they're just figuring out the play style of the other team.
Rakoy gets it over to Nunez. He's looking to switch it. A little bit behind the intended target. Grizola. Tension was good. That's a loose pass. Sawad gets it to John Lloyd Halike. It's in an awkward spot for 2 midfield players. Ariola looking for support. It's Nico Palacio sending it forward. It's going to go all the way to the other Palacio. Nico Nor unable to get there in time.
I think that's Army's best blueprint going forward. They don't have to play as much on the ground as Tuloy. They can just go direct. A player like Ariola, he actually towers over the Tuloy defenders. And they have runners like Sapal from midfield. You saw him accelerate there. There's something in this game for them, I like to think, Philippine Army.
Villaseñor. He's got room to pick out a pass here. Sapal. He's a quality player for Aguilas. Itong si Jomari Sapal. But perhaps wasn't happy with the amount of minutes that he was getting. And here he is definitely going to play a key role for Army.
Yeah, it looks like Sapal is just going to be the anchor for this Army side. So everything going forward is going to come through him. He's the deepest lying midfielder. So that means he's going to have to start and break up attacks at the same time, like he did there.
Going for it.
Oh!
Gonna be a great goal! Unbelievable! From just in front of the halfway circle, Royket Bedia spotted the keeper off his line and fired in a classic there. Unbelievable. Look at this. Took it on instinct, and it's ended up in the back of the net. Incredible quality from Royket Bedia.
Well, that also means for the first time this season, Philippine Army are in front. Who would have thought it? And who would have thought it would have come through a goal like that? A moment of brilliance. It's nothing else. Royket Bedia sees goalkeeper off his line. He thinks, why not? And the saying goes, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. He bought a ticket, and what a goal that is.
Tremendous finish. Tuloy FC finding themselves behind.
The thing about that volley also was it was in the air, and the first time it bounced, it was already in the back of the net. That's how accurate that volley from, I don't even know how far that was.
Very impressive. Looked like about 40 meters away from goal. Instinctively taken by Bedia after spotting the keeper off his line. And only the second goal of Philippine Army this season. And what a goal it is. A contender potentially for goal of the season.
Well, there you also saw it. There was actually an assist on his debut for Sapal. Just as I was mentioning him having to start and break up attacks, he has that headed interception. But yeah, that finish was world class, truly, to put Army 1-0 up.
It's going to be a goal that he'll remember for a very long time. 34-year-old Royket Bedia, but there's defending needing to be done here for Philippine Army. That cross not going to trouble the Armed Forces side. So surprise, surprise, Army are ahead in this game. Coach Ronel Hiner spoke of the intention to get an early goal, and they've got it here, Diego. 11 minutes into the game, find themselves ahead.
That's also 2 games now in 2026 for Tuloy. Haven't started well. They didn't start well against Mendiola. He didn't start on fire tonight. It wasn't as bad of a start, but they probably wouldn't have expected to concede in that manner. Nevertheless, for Army, they have to manage this game now. They have a precious lead to get 3 points for the first time this season. Any point for the first time this season. It's up to Ronel Hiner now to manage this game smartly.
Tuloy, not the type of team to be disincentivized to go forward, to lose their momentum or their spark after conceding a goal. Very rarely you see them slump their shoulders. They just keep on plugging away. Here they are with a high press. Halike hits the brakes. Sawat. Halike unable to control that one.
This is good from Bedia. You know, that's the type of thing Philippine Army have to do now. You know, every possible second where they can slow the game down, take that rhythm away from Tuloy. You know, they have to take it because they've never been in this scenario this season. And they absolutely must protect this lead.
It's given away cheaply. Cortez trying to play that into Bedia. Under a lot of pressure though. It's a cheap free kick to give away.
I think if you're a neutral fan, you would have actually wanted to have seen Army take the first goal because it means now that Tuloy have to sort of play a bit more expansive, pour a little bit more bodies forward. But it also means that Philippine Army, you know, they have more space to attack in behind through their direct counterattacks. Interesting to see where this game goes.
Delivery by Nunez. It's headed away. Looking for the run. In behind here. Ooh, Apal! Another attempt from way out.
That was an attempt that tells me their confidence levels are much higher than usual. And again, it's Sapal chesting it down. It's been at the heart of everything good for Philippine Army.
Side and Sawat. Had it taken away. The Guzman now looking to send it forward. But they're now unable to get to that ball. Side on Sawat now carrying. Nunez under pressure. It's a whistle against Bedia. Physical contest for Hadi Nunez today. He's a very slick customer. Said El Sawat. It's fallen kindly. He is offside, Lawrence Binalo.
Again, Tuloy just unable to get into that usual possession style. In general, unable to get into a rhythm. I think it doesn't help also that Philippine Army are trying to make it as slow and as frustrating as possible whenever they can. Like, you know, taking a free kick, taking extra 5 or 10 seconds. A little bit of dark arts, some might call it. But, you know, to protect your lead, I think Philippine Army are going to need every bit of that. That won't help though, because when they do have possession, the last thing you want to do is surrender it back to Tuloy, because Tuloy, you know, they thrive on possession. So best way to attack them really is to make them not have the ball at all.
Fantastic ball forward. Sawat cannot progress as Bedia got a foot in. Fluidity still missing for Tuloy. Meanwhile, for Army, they seem committed to trying to play out the back, but they're dispossessed here. Sawat squares it. Halike creating a bit of room. And that one dragged just wide.
That was Philippine Army shooting themselves in the foot. They had possession in their own defensive third. But, you know, if you're going to play passes like that into dangerous pockets, you have to be prepared to lose it, especially if, you know, Tuloy are chasing the game now. They're going to press higher. You know, I do wonder if Army are just better off going through the press or above the press with more direct passes. A bit lucky actually there that Halike's shot wasn't on target and it wasn't close enough to the onrushing attacker.
Yan na rin ang nasa isip ni Mark Anthony Badia as he goes long here from the goal kick. Knocked on, Gatinaw. Throw-in is averted. That's going to be offside, but promising signs when they play direct here.
Yeah, you can just see, you know, that second and third ball, when you give Ariola the chance to win it, he's the tallest player on the pitch, I believe, at the moment. He'll just get you up the pitch, and that's their best way forward.
Halike trying to curl that into a teammate. Spotted all the way by Mark Anthony Badia. Dangerous ball backwards. Launched by Baking Soriano. Tuloy will have another opportunity here.
Again, Philippine Army, they don't need to play those passes. Under no pressure whatsoever, and hospital pass. It's just gonna frustrate you a little bit. And yeah, you just sort of shoot yourself in the foot. When under no pressure, you give Tuloy a chance to snatch possession in your own defensive end.
Touch and release by Nunez. That clearance will go out for a corner kick. Tuloy trying to pick up the pressure here. Sawat can play it short as John Diaz is available. Nunez assessing his options. Numbers are still available here for Tuloy from the set piece. Intention was well spotted, and now Army can break. Ariola playing the reverse ball, played forward. Opportunity didn't quite materialize for Army. Tuloy not wasting any time. Nice little cut, and that one just across goal. Justin Lupango, great feat to create the space. Nobody at the end of his cross that went right in front of goal.
Well, after he made that cross and saw that no one got on the end of it, he looked across his teammates as if to say, you know, why wasn't anyone gambling to be at the back post? Because if anyone gambled, that would have been an easy tap-in. This game just opening up ever so slightly. Chance for Philippine Army, then chance from Tuloy right after.
Chance to build here for Tuloy. They're going to go quickly. Halike is offside. Switching it up a little bit. Showing they do have a bit of variety in the way they attack.
Yeah, that will help for Tuloy. You know, if they're a little bit too predictable and try to do the same things all the time, they will get figured out in games. So every once in a while, it's better just to switch it up a bit. Halike showing that he can run in behind as well. Definitely an aspect that he can work on. But again, when Philippine Army go direct, they end up picking up the second and third balls. And all right, they're being forced from shots from distance. Well, one already worked out.
Test Michael Antilio Jr. again. Diaz skips past 2. Back to Diaz. Touches it on. Looking for handball. Not given. Sapal. Just a calming presence in the middle for Philippine Army.
Yeah, you can see when Sapal gets the ball, he's composed. He can take an extra touch or so because he does have that experience at a high level. Came from Aguilas. And yeah, he's pivotal right now to everything that Army have going for them.
That kind of player that they've lacked this season, that's for sure. The Philippine Army. Now they have that presence in the middle. Allow them a little bit more joy on the ball. Vod Tuloy, what a pass that is over to the left side. Bango. Alike is tightly marked. Oh, that is a dangerous ball backwards. Chance here. Again, another shot off target. And a loose pass that caused all kinds of issues. Justin Lupango with the opportunity.
But once again, it was a hospital pass from Philippine Army that put their lead in danger. Again, there's absolutely so many ways to avoid misplaced passes like that. Yeah, they do nothing for your team except put you under pressure. That's not the first time that's happened this evening.
South looking to rifle that one into Halike. Tuloy have picked up the momentum the last 10 minutes or so. Philippine Army still looking a bit dangerous on the transition. Haven't been able to press their advantage after scoring a wonder goal. Here comes another opportunity perhaps. Ariola forces a stop. And Antilo will be able to gather.
At this moment, I'm beginning to sound like a broken record. If you give Ariola the chance to win an aerial or win a duel, you know, his physique can help him escape and give him chances. And there was another one. Shot, not the best angle to be honest, but he did test the goalkeeper. And promising signs for the forward.
Looped back into the danger zone. That will be an easy catch for the goalkeeper. Look at the numbers. The attempts might be from distance, but many of them have been on target for Philippine Army. It's been a stark contrast for Tuloy. They've been getting into dangerous areas, but all the attempts so far have been wide of the mark. Saidel Saud. Pass was blocked. Another ball given away. It's becoming a bit of a trend here for Army. All his back passes.
At the moment, Philippine Army's biggest enemy is themselves. Because all the half openings and half chances that Tuloy create, most of the time it's come from a misplaced pass from Army. That's a sign maybe that they're unable to really play as many passes as they want in their own half, and they're better off perhaps just going a little bit more direct.
Player down was Jalsor Soriano for Philippine Army. Not a player you want to see struggling. He's been on the sideline for quite some time now. They're more experienced players. Here he is stepping forward to take that one away. Real opportunity here for Philippine Army, and that's rather sloppy in the end as Ariola was well offside.
Ariola just stepped into an offside position, didn't hold his run. You know, if that pass was actually made 2 or 3 seconds earlier, he would have ran onto that long ball. Again, Ariola is a good outlet, and Tuloy are providing him some space to run into, must be said.
Nice reverse pass for Nunez. Delivers the cross out. Unable to find a touch to the ball. Defender and the goalkeeper combining to get to that one. Nunez trying to find the youngster Binalong. Binalong, one of 3 teenagers on the pitch at the moment. Also got Denmark Urako, who's 18. John Diaz, starting to look more and more like a veteran. Is only 19 years of age. Really is impressive how quickly these players acclimate to this level of football.
Yeah, and that's a testament also to the program that Tuloy have going. Have their academy set up, even have their own women's team set up in their foundation. Yeah, have their own pitch, of course. And yeah, it's really just a great story to follow for a neutral. The story of Tuloy Football Club.
I talked to them about them having 3 teenagers on the pitch right now. They've also got 3 players who are just 20 years of age. Cyril Saud, Cyrus Gamboa, and John Rocky Grizola. Barely out of their teens. Of course, Nunez and Halike, both just 21. Really a very young squad. Sometimes you forget that, given the way that they're capable of popping the ball around. That's going to be out of bounds. Under pressure here, Philippine Army.
I do wonder also, Jing, if fitness is going to become a factor later on.
Oof. Play on, advantage given. And advantage almost taken. Saud. Yes, it's a lovely pass. Badia able to get there. Badia launches it forward. Cyrus Gamboa getting to it.
I think for the last maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so, you could just feel some energy sapping out of Philippine Army, and that's why I mentioned fitness. Again, they haven't played in over 2 months now. Tuloy were able to play in their January match day, so they're fitter in terms of match sharpness.
It's a bit of a worrying trend for Philippine Army. Only half an hour into this match, a little bit more than that. You expect a team of their caliber and intensity will have more in the tank. Perhaps just trying to conserve their gas tank. Play a bit more defensive here against Tuloy. Yeah, opting to go long here. Knocked on.
slowly. This game is starting to suit Tuloy more and more. You know, if you're going to allow Tuloy to keep possession like this and drop your intensity levels, you could get punished. They do well here, though.
First time into Ariola. Seems that is the instruction. Any opportunity you get outside that box, pull the trigger.
I think they will have identified the fact that, you know, Michael Antilio is a good goalkeeper. Great shot stopping, despite his modest height. But, you know, from shots from distance, height could be an issue.
South well shepherded by the captain, J. Mark Cortez. It's a good pass forward. Sapal trying to thread the needle, unable to do so. Nicanor Palacio Jr., the willing runner. John Lloyd Halike thought about hitting it. Army in transition. Ooh, good ball. He's not made the most of it. Nicanor Palacio. Long range effort. It's going to be well wide of Antilo's goal.
Well, again, Ariola, while he may be a bit slow to track back, when possession is regained by Philippine Army, he is an option to go direct into. There it was again, running in behind. This time he goes for the cross, and it was a really good cross, to be honest. I think the arriving player was maybe a little bit surprised that it actually found him. Again, there is a blueprint here for Philippine Army to get more goals.
Talked about fatigue. Bedia has pulled himself to the sideline to get some water here, so it's 10 against 11 at the moment. Long range effort, Nunez fires that one wide. The goal scorer, Bedia, is taking a while here to recover. He seems winded here in the 37th minute. He's got 7-8 minutes to play for the usual substitution later on, where Nestorio Margarce Jr. will come in. His gas tank is running low.
I think if you're Tuloy and their coaching staff, they will gamble perhaps on the fact that if we keep playing our style and we stick to our game plan around the 50th or 60th minute, you know, Philippine Army could be running on empty. And if that's the case, there's only going to be one winner.
Cross is blocked. Throw in. Tuloy have had plenty of the ball. Haven't been able to open up Army enough. Coach Renel Hiner will be rather pleased with how his side is defended so far. Nunez switching it over. Rakoy.
Just seeing Jing that there was a Tuloy player warming up and they've called him back quite urgently. Do wonder if a change in the first half is already in the mind of the coaching staff of Tuloy. They're not happy with something.
Ooh. Diaz dispossessed. Sapal called for the foul. He felt he got a lot of the ball. I can see why he felt that way. Halike now, just beyond Lupango. Yes. Keep it on the left side. Exploring the 1-2. Alige. Little flick did not come off. Ariola now. Just trying to leave it for Gattinao. As you mentioned, Diego, looks like there's going to be movement for Tuloy.
Interesting also because this is going to burn up one substitution window with halftime so close. Of course, halftime doesn't count as a sub window.
Aliga's ball gets through. Medea is off his line and it's in the back of the net. Justin Lupango finding the equalizer. Tuloy on the board. It's 1 apiece.
Yeah, and this is a goal born straight out of the Tuloy philosophy. You can see the 1-2 combination on the ground, and the finish is so calmly taken. No chance for the goalkeeper. Army will actually probably be concerned at how easy Tuloy made that look. Yeah, it's a shame really for Army because they had the lead to protect. And it's been wiped out right before halftime. They didn't have much long to go. Could have gone in halftime ahead, but Tuloy gonna be in the advantage now. With the way the game is going also, might be a little bit concerned for Philippine Army. Not even in the second half, but there's still a few minutes left in this first half.
Gian Capistrano has checked in for Denmark Oraque. 18-year-old being withdrawn.
I think that's a sign that even though they've just equalized, there is something the coaching staff want to fix. And it must be something quite urgent also because they didn't wait for halftime. Even though it's close, they've taken an aggressive approach to the sub. Made it right before halftime.
A teenager for a teenager. Gian Capistrano, just 19 years of age. He's going to be tested here. Diaz navigating the pressure well. Alige. Chance here.
That's a real chance, to take the lead. Again, good play from Tuloy, back to front, through the lines, on the ground. That's what we know them for. Yeah, Army just losing every 50-50 at the moment.
He's clutching his shoulder, seems to be struggling with something. Army will be very disappointed. Haven't been successful at keeping Tuloy at arm's reach throughout this first half. Undone by what seemed like a very simple passage of play into the box. And you wonder as well, did Medea come too quickly and too far off his line? The angle was a bit awkward for Lupango. He's been on fire as of late. Justin Lupango had an assist and a goal in that victory against Valenzuela PB Mendiola. Now he's got another goal to his name. It's a crucial one as well.
Substitution for Tuloy FC. Player number 14, Denmark Oraque, replaced by player number 15, Gian Capistrano.
Switching it. Inalong. Ariola had it poked away.
Tuloy have begun to respond better to Ariola. You know, they know that he's gonna dominate them physically if it's a one-on-one battle. If it's a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1, you know, swarm on Ariola, there's only gonna be one winner. I do just want to point out though that Army have almost looked deflated at times. It's a bit concerning given the fact that they actually took the lead. You know, that tenacity they had early on is a bit gone now.
Ariola. Switch the play. Easily dealt with by Tuloy. They can keep the momentum going here. And slow things down. 2 minutes to be added on in this first half.
There will be a minimum 2 minutes of additional time.
Expected a competitive affair. We're getting it. An opportunity. That's stopped by Badia. Second chance. It's a double save for the goalkeeper.
Tuloy completely controlling this game now. And if it weren't for a good double save by Badia, they'd be going into halftime ahead. Here's the replay with header down. Really good save at full stretch the first time around. Second one a bit weaker. A good save nonetheless. Philippine Army have to dig in now. Not too long until halftime. If they can get into halftime on level terms, that'll be a small silver lining. A few seconds away, but they have to deal with this set piece first.
Diaz creates a bit of room. Flag is raised. It's going to be a corner kick. So tricky, John Diaz.
That was also a really good line-breaking pass to find him in the first place. Again, Tuloy, they just have this bravery to play risky passes, you know, through really tight angles. But it pays off from time to time, and you know, it's those types of passes that can completely undo a defense, even if they are remaining compact, like Army were there. You know, perfect weight of pass and perfect choice. You could undo a defense. As we get a look at Coach Taketomo Suzuki, doesn't usually take the touchline, but does from time to time.
Nunez spotting the run. Hadlike's first touch just presented a bit too much. That should do it here in this first half. Chris Melcayabia blows the whistle as it is level at the break. Roy Kent Badia getting the scoring started with a wonder goal for Philippine Army. And that was canceled out with 4 minutes to go. With a goal from Tuloy. Justin Lupango evening things up. And that's where it stands. Tuloy FC 1, Philippine Army 1. Halftime break. We'll be right back. Halftime at the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium between Tuloy FC and Filipino Army. 1-1 is the scoreline. Quite a game we have on our hands. We expected it to be close, and the match is delivering. Badia with the opener 11 minutes in. Lupango with a late goal in that first half to equalize. And we are all square after 45 as we take a look at these statistics.
Yeah, of course, no surprise that Tuloy are gonna boss the possession stats. But shot count-wise, Tuloy in favor, but Philippine Army also taking their fair share of shots, mostly from distance, so it seems to be identified as their best chance of scoring. And of course, they did score from probably the longest shot they took of the evening. You know, it's a match that is in the balance. I'll be interested to see how this match goes after the first half, because just sensed that momentum was shifting towards Tuloy towards the end of that first half. Of course, they did get that goal. And yeah, hopefully for Army's sake that they used the 15 minutes to rest and yeah, recover from a good opening, maybe 20 minutes, and then another 20 minutes where Tuloy began to be, the team really controlling this match.
We saw in the statistics 6 shots on target for Philippine Army, but as you alluded to, Diego, a lot of those shots were rather speculative efforts. They have been finding the frame quite a bit, keeping Antilo on his toes. Kickoff here in the second half. Jing Hamlang and Diego Cordero calling the action. Tuloy was not one of their more dangerous entries into the box, but Lopango able to dispatch of it. That marked their equalizer. And as that first half whistle was blown, they really were on the ascendancy. Senor running into a bit of trouble. Wonder as well what will be the adjustments from Coach Ronel Hiner, as we saw quite a few players struggling with their fitness before that halftime whistle was blown. Meanwhile for Tuloy, passing was starting to get a little bit slicker. They were starting to get bodies inside the box. Lopango particularly dangerous on this left side. So a run into a meaty challenge there as Lopango takes a shot from Bedia.
Lopango does really well there. He's outnumbered 3-1, but does enough to win the free kick. Just put his body in a position. Might have gotten hurt from it actually. He is still holding his jaw. Look quite painful actually. Well, he looks okay to continue.
Nunez not wasting any time. It's not the best free kick from him. Bedia looking for Ariola. That route was one of the more promising ways to advance the ball for Philippine Army. Jimuel Ariola, with his height and stature, quite an effective outlet for them up front. Ariola using his body well. Bedia had it poked away. Now Sawat. Just behind Halike. The Senor can clear. Ariola now. Release Gatinao. Chance here for Jimuel Ariola. And it's into the hands of the goalkeeper. It was a golden opportunity for the forward.
Well, I highly doubt he's going to get a better chance than that for the remainder of this match. Just didn't catch it clean. Either side of the goalkeeper, it's most likely a goal, but well, just kind of bobbled a little bit. It's an easy save in the end for Antilio.
Jimuel Ariola, so close to scoring his second of the season. What will only be Philippine Army's third overall.
And if they don't get all 3 points this match, Philippine Army, they're gonna rue those missed chances, especially that one that just happened. And if there is a player in Army you want that type of chance to fall through, it is probably Ariola. It's a shame that he couldn't take it, put his team back in the lead.
The Senor finding room on the right side. Almost became a bit tricky for the goalkeeper. In the end, hit the roof of the net.
Philippine Army have gotten some of that energy back. Again, they just want to be careful not to overexert themselves in any play. No one really knows, apart from them, how fit they are, but There are moments in that first half where they're drinking water while the game's ongoing. It's a bit of a concerning sight.
Bango looking for a runner. Not happy with his options. This little midfield battle. Looking to release the left winger. It's just beyond. Philippine Army can thrive a little bit, utilizing that physicality in the middle.
Yeah, when the ball's not on the ground, when it's not in settled play, that will favor Philippine Army. So they need to make sure that's the state of play as much as possible.
Nice little 1-2. Yep. Soriano supporting in midfield. Gets it out wide to Nicanor Jr. Nora's got room. He's going to launch it forward. More of a hopeful ball than anything.
And yeah, that was Sapal running onto the end of it. I think he's not really the player you want on the end of those passes. Maybe he's the player you want making those passes, but here's a chance for Tuloy.
Soriano now looking alert and alive to the intentions of Tuloy. Ariola out wide. Great skill from him. Keep his run going. That's going to be a foul. Rizola winning the whistle, actually. Rather interesting, that one. It looked like Rizola was the one who was coming in rather physical. Riola being left rather confused.
The linesman is still receiving an earful, both from Ariola and the dugout of Army.
Perhaps for the extension of his arm, but it didn't seem a lot from the player in possession with the ball. As this stands, by the way, this would still garner Philippine Army's first point of the season. They will be hoping for all 3 points. As you can see, they are looking more and more dangerous. Army now looking to press. Tuloy, of course, have built a reputation of being rather press resistant.
I'm not sure if pressing that high is the best tactic.
Alike, matatawagan dito ng handball. Just as you mentioned, Diego, some spaces opening up in behind. Committed players forward. Now Jalsor Soriano looks like he is in some pain here. And it looks serious.
Can't recall if he was the one just holding his shoulder in the first half.
Yes.
He is holding that shoulder once again.
He's just come from a lengthy layoff as well. Suffering from a hamstring injury, I believe. He's one of the players as well that they can rely on to be tidy on the ball. This will be a blow for Coach Ronel Hiner if he is indeed unable to continue. There's already a player warming up.
Yeah, and he's warming up quite vigorously as well, so I think that's indicative of what's about to happen. a blow actually for Coach Ronel Henner. They recovered from that slump in the first half. Had chances in the second half. Actually, yeah, it looks like there's going to be a sub going to be made. Got up to his feet rather quickly, so I thought for a moment that could have been okay.
Not a good look here, as Bucking Soriano looks like he will need to be replaced, which means that back line will be shuffled, but still 35 it changed to be played. Ariola should still get a piece of his body to that. Look at this, Tuloy navigating the press expertly well. Halike! That's pushed away by Bedia. He's just able to deny a second opportunity.
Yeah, a bit of an unconventional save and kick out, but if it works, it works. But again, that all came from Philippine Army pressing high, even when they were down to 10.
Playing with fire, been burnt on a few occasions. Guilty of giving the ball away when they're attempting to play out the back. They've almost been punished there for trying to high press. Knocked on by Ariola. Palacio unable to get there. Looks like Jocelyn Soriano will soldier on for the time being. Runner in behind, just offside though, Saud.
Soriano is still holding that shoulder. Do wonder if it is just aggravating the fact that, you know, he's playing on, despite the fact that he's in some clear pain. But yeah, he's gonna soldier on.
Question is, how is he going to take any impact there? If Halike runs into him, imagine that'll be a very painful proposition for him. Sapal. The Senor. Two number 11s getting entangled. Bongo getting a warning from Chris Milk. Kayabyab. He's pleading his innocence. The Senor. Headed away by Tuloy. All the way back to Bedia. Closed down quickly. Foul will be called against Grizola.
The game just getting scrappy now. A lot of stop and start. It's an opportunity really for either of these teams to really grab control of this game, because neither team has it at the moment.
Pero nakikita natin dito, Tuloy, they're not shying away from the physical battle here. Talked about this aspect of the game being one that perhaps they could be dominated in, and they seem pretty eager to get stuck in here against these armed forces players.
And they have another chance to do just that. Set piece here.
was delayed. Diaz delivery. Punched away by Antilo. It's bouncing around dangerously. Antilo able to gather in the end.
Antilio, brave goalkeeping. Again, he's not the tallest goalkeeper. He has a modest height, but he claimed that well there. Good punch, especially with the onrushing Ariola.
Press paying off.
Oh,
Sapal getting forward. It's a good first touch. Ariola sorting out his feet well. Catinao. Dia gets it to Villaseñor. There's a lot of green shirts forward. It's looped in. Catinao now. The best effort from him, but promising from Army, applying a bit of pressure here on Tuloy.
yeah, decent spell for Philippine Army. Just pushing Tuloy back a little bit. Again, their physicality is their best bet forward.
Halike unable to get that to Lupango, who was with a lot of room on the left flank. Looking for the run of Sawat, who is onside. This will be the second for Tuloy. Fantastic run in behind for Cyril Sawat, who gets the go-ahead here for Tuloy.
Yeah, you know, Philippine Army will be disappointed because, you know, for all the possession that they do play, you know, it's a simple ball over the top from Tuloy that's the undoing of Philippine Army. It's a simple sprint and chase. And yeah, the goalkeeper, he never looked fully assured of himself coming out. He's left completely alone by his back line. Yeah, they'll be pointing fingers, but it doesn't matter because they're behind. You know, it's a real shame for Philippine Army because they've had the chances to go in front. They were in front in the first half. You know, Tuloy did mention also it was good in the first half that they can mix things up when things aren't going their way fully. Yeah, they mixed it up there and it paid off. So there's more than one dimension to this very young Tuloy squad.
Cyril Sawat, 20 years of age. Opportunity here, thwarted by Antilo. So Sawat is a scorer of banger goals. But that one, nice and simple. He's looking for Halike there.
And they tried it again, Tuloy. I think they can sense that if it becomes a foot race, you know, they fancy their own attackers against the back line of Philippine Army. Again, maybe fitness is a factor in that.
Antilo off his line, gets to it. Kasama na rin yun sa mga risk of playing a higher line, pressing for Army. They've suffered the ill effects of that on that goal from Sawat.
And again, you do wonder also for that goal if it was a factor that, you know, I'm really not sure how fit Soriano is at the moment. Went down more than once, holding his shoulder. Not sure if he can run full sprint at the moment.
Army venturing forward, looking for a way to level things back up. That's beyond the intended target. And Tuloy can clear.
And we've been asking fitness questions about Philippine Army. I do also wonder if it's a factor for Tuloy. Again, they've played 2 games already, 2026.
It's going to be a one-on-one here. Sawat taking on his man. Gets past his man. It's a fantastic finish. Cyril Sawat, unstoppable.
Well, Cyril Sawat is now in this flow state of his. And when he is in this state, he is quite the player to watch despite his age. But look how confidently he took this goal. pass forward, good first touch, cuts inside confidently, and the finish is clinical to the opposite corner. Goalkeeper had no chance. And yeah, after an even, first 50 minutes or so, Tuloy are looking like they're gonna run away with it now.
Philippine Army on the ropes here.
And it's a real shame also because, again, in the pre-match preview we did about 3 hours ago, we did mention, if you're Philippine Army, you have to be up for this game. This is a winnable game. Or if not a winnable game, a game where you can at least get a point. But they've faded away. And they've looked leggy in this half. Yeah, for Tuloy, they're going to go up to 9 points.
Oh! There is a goal back here for Philippine Army. Antilo has that one slip through his hands. And Joshua Gatinao can cut into this advantage. It is now 3-2.
Well, that's a plot twist. Because there's no pressure for him. There's an on-rushing Army player, but it's not near him. There's no contact. It should be a simple catch for Antillo. I don't think that will do his confidence any good for the rest of this match. That was a completely avoidable goal to concede. Philippine Army, they have to take this. It's a lifeline from out of nowhere. It's a gift, really. But it makes this game more entertaining, and for the neutral fans, love to see it.
Saw some slumped shoulders on the side of Army. And that goal will certainly do a lot to rectify sort of their depressed state. You can certainly feel now that there is a way back into this game. Now trying to thread a pass through. Opportunity here for Army! Oh, Tilo makes up for his earlier mistake with a lovely stop.
What a save. That wasn't what is going on with this game at the moment. No one can really say which way this game is going to go. Just want to point out also, Jing, that, well, he did make that save, but right after that error from Antillo, the coaching staff of Tuloy have sent the new signing, Tambilawan, to warm up. Tambilawan, fresh out of the UAAP, fresh out of, I believe, University of the East. Still had playing years, according to his Facebook page, but opted to go pro early on. And he's not playing tonight, but you do wonder if he has a part to play in this Tuloy season.
All the way through. South now. This time marked tightly by Cortez. Nunez lifts it in. Difficult one to control. A whistle is blown. I think the ball went up to hit his arm. That would be the reason for the whistle. Because if it was not a handball, you wonder if that would have been a penalty on Mark Bedia. Substitutions coming for Tuloy. Surprisingly, there have been none from Army. Ariola battling for Army, but Tuloy are able to navigate the pressure. Player down actually for the men in green. Looks like Palacio is down. Coach of Tuloy having a few words with Justin Lopango. Could be the time that he makes his changes now. We are going to see Kent Talam, recently converted into a player from the coach's staff. We're going to see the young man Marcos Toves check in. First foreigner we've seen see action for Tuloy. For the time being, it looks like there will be no change in between the sticks. Chance here, Halike, edge of the box. Side al Saud.
I think Army are down to 10 at the moment as well. You have a player just limping off.
It looks like it's Nico Palacio who needs to be replaced. And Army need to move quickly here. They don't want to play 10 against 11 for too long. So the change is going to be made. Actually, Antilio will be replaced. Christian Nino Tambilawan will make his Philippine Football League debut. Kent Talam checks in. Lupango replaced.
Three new signings for Tuloy actually checking in. It's good to see that they've been active in the transfer window. Both finding internal solutions in Kent Talam, finding foreign signings in Toves, we'll confirm how to pronounce that later, and getting a homegrown talent in Tambilawan, straight out of UE. Also has quite a following on social media. I managed to see not too long ago. It's nice to see another player has made the jump from UE to the for UE to the PFL, because earlier we also had Abarca make his debut for Don Bosco. Always nice to see homegrowns make that step into the unknown, into the pro scene, and yeah, we wish them the best.
The substitutions have been made for both sides. Triple change for each.
Player number 11, Justin Lopang, replaced by player number 58, Ken Talam.
You'd hope also if you're
Player number 2,
Army that's just going to give a spark, a little bit more energy. They looked a little bit drained last few minutes. Tuloy will actually be hoping the exact same. They've kept their main starters in the lineup.
Michael Antino, replaced by player number 51, Christian Tagbilang.
Nunez drifting out wide.
Substitution for Philippine Army FC. Player number 77, Nico Palacio, replaced by
Palacio
player
replaced.
number 2, Renz Kumban.
Roy Kent Bedia making way alongside Baking Soriano.
Roy Kent Bedia, replaced by player number 23, Restorio Marcars. Player number 6,
Slight push there, called for the foul.
replaced by player number 14, John Lanaspe.
John Art Lunaspe, Mugi Margarce Jr., and Renz Paul Gumban have all checked in for Philippine Army. Fresh legs to finish off this contest. Louis looking for a cushion. Philippine Army looking to draw level once more. Halike creating a bit of room. Left-footed strike though is an easy save for the goalkeeper.
And that came from a direct pass in behind Army's back line. And it seems as the game's gone on, Tuloy have identified that as one of their best or better ways forward. So when they can't play through Philippine Army, they'll try to play over. The Army haven't been able to deal with it actually. It's how one of the goals came about. Yeah, Tuloy showing that they have more than one dimension.
Was one of the criticisms for Tuloy. That's a very dangerous ball. Army able to clear it away. Talk about Tuloy. There is a certain style of play that can be expected of them. Without any variety, they've become a bit easy to predict. Now we're seeing the evolution of that style now. They can go long, they can play short. We're seeing the fruits of that in this match. So many willing runners on the last line. Argarce now. First involvement. It's pushed by Diaz. Argarce will get an opportunity to play alongside Sapal here. Perhaps that will be a recipe for them to have a bit more midfield control. Dia with a bit of confidence here. Pass was cut out. But it's given away. Opportunity for the substitute. But he is offside, Gumban.
Offside, so nothing from that would have counted. Barges into Tambilawan. Welcome to the PFL. But again, this game just hanging on the balance. You can tell that both teams are a little bit nervy. No one wants to make, the crucial mistake that either seals or equalizes this match. Interesting to see which team will take more risk or will play it safe.
Army reaping the benefits of their high press. Argarce, always very intelligent with his running. It's good intention. Tambilawan. Couldn't find a teammate. Now Army unable to find a way through. Alike trying to switch it. It does reach its intended target. And that is a crucial tackle to deny the shot.
Game getting stretched at the moment. You can see some tired legs now from both sides. There's some sloppy play there. Again, the top of Philippine football here, the PFL. Such a physically demanding league.
Shot! What a goal! Incredible finish from John Lloyd Halike, who just rifled in Tuloy's fourth goal of the game.
Well, I was just about to say, I think Tuloy need to see a little bit more of Halike. He's not been too involved this evening, but look at this. Look at the angle he takes the shot from. The volley is hit with so much venom, it beats the goalkeeper. I think still, though, goalkeeper Bedia might be a little bit disappointed. I mean, from that angle, you're always going to favor the goalkeeper. But credit to Halike, he gave himself a chance with the good touch. And yeah, ball striking, no one's ever doubted Halike. Scored some bangers in the past. There's another one.
Incredible. Siguro iniisip ni Bedia, hindi niya naman siguro titirahin sa ganyang klaseng anggulo.
Player number 17, John Lloyd Jalique.
But Halike, the confidence from the young man hasn't been one of his best performances in a Tuloy shirt, having come back from a layoff. But goodness me, is that an illustration of what he is capable of?
It's also the sign of a good striker. You know, can you be uninvolved? And in the few moments that you are involved, can you make the difference? Can you make your mark on the game? Get on the score sheet? And Halike answers those questions emphatically.
That might be it. That could be the cushion that Tuloy needed to see out this match. 10 minutes to go. Philippine Army may have different ideas. Opportunity. Saw that side of the goal was open. And Joshua Gattinao, he's going to be a player in particular who will feel he could have added a third here for Army. Here comes some substitutions. We're going to see Miller Akiapat check in alongside Jomar Acedo.
Substitution for Philippine Army FC.
Cortez will make way,
Player number 47.
and Gattinao will make way.
Cortez, replaced by player number 44. Miller Akiama.
You know, with the score at 4-2,
Player number 24.
people might not know the full story of this match. You know, Army took the lead, clawed back to 1-1. People forget Ariola had that golden opportunity at 1-1 to take the lead back. And it suddenly became 3-1 to Tuloy in quick succession. Handed a lifeline once again by Antilio. But Tuloy perhaps now just out of reach of Philippine Army. And it's a shame because they've showed good signs. The result is going to be Tuloy's to lose.
An add to the tally here, Halike trying to dance his way through. Just to add to your timeline of events there, Diego, there was actually a moment after Gattinao fortuitously got the second goal for Philippine Army that he had a chance to make it 3-3.
Right.
And Tilo with a great save.
That's right. If Antilio doesn't make that save right before going off, it's 3-3 and who knows what could have happened. Nature of the goals as well in this match. We've seen every type of goal, really. You know, wonder goals, errors. It's made for a really entertaining match. I think from a neutral, they would have really enjoyed watching this game. Tuloy, they're going to go up to 9 points. That's a really good tally to be in. 6 points from a possible 6 in the new year.
For Philippine Army, though, this is a real shot in the arm. There was a signal that needed to be made that things need to change for them. This will be it.
Yeah, and some unpleasant sights. Not sure if it was seen on camera, but two teammates really exchanging words. Very emotional Philippine Army. Can't help but be emotional given the scoreline.
This is a storied side. One with a rich history in the top flight of Philippine football. At the moment, they're finding themselves behind and having conceded 4 goals against a very young team in Tuloy that have made real strides in the last few years in terms of their development. They've essentially shown that they could take a blank slate and turn it into this in a short period of time.
Yeah, credit must go to Taketomo Suzuki for the program he has instilled and the philosophy he has instilled.
Alike, can he find a second here? Creating a bit of room, and it is a fantastic finish. Only needed a little bit of room. He manufactured it and absolutely smashed it with his left foot to make it 5-2 to Tuloy. John Lloyd Halike, all of a sudden with a brace.
And if you were to watch the 2 goals that he scored in the second half, you wouldn't know which is his strong foot, because look at the power he gets behind his left foot here into the top corner. No chance for the goalkeeper there. You know, he's an ambidextrous footballer, Halike, and he's a real special talent. People will forget how young he is, because this is quite some player already in the PFL. And the scoreline, maybe it does flatter Tuloy a little bit, but it will give them incredible confidence going forward. Score 5 against a direct rival, 3 weeks ago 3 against another direct rival. They beat Don Bosco 3-0 when the season started as well. Jing, I believe you covered that game.
Very impressive up against teams in and around their level of quality on paper. And they're showing they are a notch above, Diego. Very impressive indeed. And if you look back on that play with John Lloyd Halike, he has made a veteran defender in Sai Villaseñor of UAAP lore, former Kaya player, a player who's played at the AFC level. Look, very simple indeed. Talam! Opportunity there for the substitute to get in on the action.
And Halike was involved. Again, did you see that chest off to Talam? That is a sign of intelligence, good scanning from Halike. He knows where his teammates are. But as you were saying, Jing, you know, he's up against a seasoned defender, a defender who knows his way. He probably thought that Halike favored his right foot. Halike says, challenge accepted. I'll go with my weak foot, quote unquote weak foot.
Exactly that. You can see him showing the left side. Go ahead, see if you can beat me with your left foot. Halike is like, I don't think you know who I am.
The strike was so clean, you can see the net bulge. He's on a hat-trick, actually has some time to get that hat-trick. Would imagine also there's some stoppage time in this game.
Halike delight there on that possession. It's just 21, by the way.
Incredible.
Halike.
Absolutely incredible. Forget his age for just a moment, and if you were to watch him, you'd think he's a seasoned striker at the age of maybe 28, 29. No, he's not even really began his career. That's how young he is. Incredible prospect.
Binalong being replaced here. It's been a very productive almost 88 minutes for the 16-year-old. Everett J. Fernazo on to finish off this match. Talk about trusting the youth with Tuloy, trusting their process, knowing when a player is good enough regardless of age. It truly is impressive. Tala making a good run. Looking for support. Said El Sawat is there. Diaz. Halike not going to get it back.
Halike is a player dripping in confidence. Crazy what goals can do for you.
Army almost giving it away dangerously inside their own half. They're able to progress here. Final minute of regulation. Now we're taken away. Estrano unable to get far. Alike. There's some protestations on the field saying it touched his arm. Alike unable to progress that ball. Sapal trying to get it around the corner. Talam. Alike. It's a good ball forward. He's going to get it back. Alike for the hat trick. Incredible. The 21-year-old going on a tear here in the last few minutes. And what a last 10 it's been for him. This one to finish off his hat trick. All of them rifled into the net. John Lloyd Halike, take a bow, sir.
This is a goal born out of chemistry. John Diaz on the end of that through pass. Didn't have much on. And who would have thought from that angle to back heel to Halike. And once again, you can't really tell what his strong foot is. Left foot breaks the net, right foot breaks the net for his hat trick. Again, the goalkeeper, absolutely zero chance. Was quite near him, but the power itself, enough to blast it into the back of the net. Just as we were talking about Halike, you know, we didn't need any more evidence about the talent that he has, but there it is anyway. Hungry for goals, has an eye for movement, two-footed. What more could you want from a young striker?
Worrying for Army, though, was how they were outnumbered inside the box on that play. This has been a real worry for them this season. It's that propensity to slump their shoulders and lose motivation, as Talam is putting on a bit of a showcase of close control here in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, but there's another example. You see, yung Talam, he's already lost the ball, really. He's gotten stuck under his feet, and you know, there's no Army player willing, despite the fact that there was actually two near him. None of them are willing really to, you know, stick their foot in there, fight for that 50-50. You know, since their second goal, which was a gift, really, it's been all Tuloy.
Now, where's that signature hunger? Where's that signature fight from Philippine Army? It's been lacking this season.
It's a real shame also, because this is a team that has history in Philippine football, has success in Philippine football. Some might not even remember it, but they do have that in their history.
They're a team that typically was a fixture that nobody enjoyed being on the opposite side of. You knew it was going to be a tough day in the office, but it's becoming less of a feature of their game as of late. And that will be something that they need to sort out if they are going to turn things around this season.
And we'll confirm as well what their next fixture is, but again, Coach Ronel Henner is going to he needs to get that fitness up quickly. Otherwise, you could see more similar results. Again, there are not a lot of results that Army will mark as favorable, but this was one of them, and you know, they've capitulated in the second half in terms of how they played, in terms of their actual fitness. Another player going down with cramps. You know, there's nothing to break down about that, simply fitness. When a player goes down with cramp like that.
That is Nicanor Palacio, who is struggling. His brother Nico Palacio was forced off earlier on. And it's just seconds to go. Final whistle just around the corner. And this match should be done upon the restart. Tuloy pulling off a fantastic victory, having gone behind early in this game. Could they have one last say here? Talam unable to get to it. Could be a second opportunity. Saud. Alike. Goes down inside the box, and that should be it. The Army clear this ball. Guys are getting it forward. Okay, Abiab adding on time to added time. Final opportunity here for Army. Ariola was making a good run, and that will be it. Final whistle at the Rizal Memorial Stadium as Tuloy will get their 9th point of the season, with John Lloyd Halike adding quite the exclamation at the end. A hat-trick scored in the span of 11 minutes to really pull Tuloy away from Philippine Army, who actually opened the scoring in some fashion in this match. Diego, your final thoughts on this contest. Tuloy creating a bit of separation now with the rest of the pack in the classification round of our standings.
Well, you know, for those fans who are wondering why Tuloy are such a likable team, you know, your neutral's favorite, this match was the perfect example of why. You can see the youth, but the talent and bravery in that team, and you can't help but feel that you also support them. I mean, this is a team of so many homegrown talents that could be such good players in the future, but already are good players. For Philippine Army, you know, it's a scoreline that they'll feel could have been so much different had things gone their way, but you know, they did not help themselves really with some of the errors that they made. And yeah, Tuloy, not the perfect night, but a really, really good display from the youngsters.
Tuloy, momentum keeps on rolling in the Philippines Football League. They're up to 9 points, while the struggles of Philippine Army continue. It finishes 6-2 in favor of Tuloy in our second match of our triple header on this Saturday. We thank you for watching. For my partner Diego Cordero, my name is Jing Hamlang. Stick around for our next match.
Congratulations on the result. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yung thoughts ko po sa game is it was a good game, but may mga mistake po kami na nagawa. Yung dalawa pong concede goal namin is galing po sa amin. Pero masaya po kasi panalo po kami ngayon.
How do you plan to move forward given the results?
Mag-move forward po kami by training, by mag-work hard pa po, and then more winnings pa po.
Any message to the fans?
Marami pong salamat sa mga sumusuporta sa Tuloy FC. I hope pagpatuloy nyo lang po yung pagsuporta sa amin, and then bibigay po namin lahat ng best namin. Sige po.
Thank you po. Congrats.